So hello everyone, this is AetherNightmare and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV! So as you can see, we have two quests available behind me, and that's because we have finished the Arcanist quests, and the Arcanist can branch off into one of two different paths, and yes, you can do both of them. But for my sake of mental health, I am going to do one before the other. Now, if you want to continue with Arcanist the way that you've currently been using it, with carbuncles mainly as DPS, then you need to go over and talk to Thurbagrim and begin the Summoner line of quests. However, that is fairly straightforward to me, and the last time I did it, it was pretty easy, whereas I want to actually go over and talk to Mirie and begin the Scholar line of quests, which is a healing class, because it's going to be drastically different from Summoner and Arcanist, which made it very difficult for me to learn the last time when it started over at level 50. Now the two will level together, which means when I get around to doing Summoner, it will be probably a shorter recording session for me, since I will literally be starting out at level 50. But I want to be able to take the time to learn Scholar, since when I last did Final Fantasy XIV, due to the gap in knowledge, it was extremely difficult for me to learn, so we're going to try and cushion the blow. Forgotten but not gone. Mirie has knowledge of an intriguing opportunity. Bren, have you any interest in history? If so, I would share with you an opportunity to study the ways of the ancients. A curiously refined and well-read marauder visited the guild the other day in the hopes that he might meet an arcanist of exceptional skill. He claims that the assistance of one such individual would be invaluable for the success of his archaeological research. I say claims because, despite his elegance, the thought of a marauder with an academic ambition still strikes me as odd. Rude. You are, of course, free to formulate your own opinions. His name is El Kazolka, and he can be found at the Marauders Guild should curiosity overwhelm you. Wow, that is very rude to assume, especially as someone who started out as a Marauder and is now going Scholar. What is your beef, woman? Thank you for setting aside your preconditions, Bren. I'm acutely aware how unusual it is for a marauder to conduct research, as it were. It really isn't. However, you shall soon understand that I am not at all like my more muscular brethren. Don't be a pick-me about it. You're allowed to have brains and brawn. Rather than rush blindly into the enemy's maw, I formulate and execute stratagems to great effect. My archaeological pursuits are but an extension of this practice. For at present I am researching the military tactics of ancient Nim. 'Twould not surprise me if you were unfamiliar with Nim. The civilization flourished some 15-odd centuries ago during the 5th Astral Era. The Nimians lived during an age of wonders, which the magical arts flourished, but magics can be wielded for weal or for woe, and this period of peace eventually gave way to the Great War of the Magi. The nations of that bygone era brought earth-shattering magics to bear against one another. Yet Nim, with only a handful of mages to support its army of mariners, repulsed would-be invaders time and time again. Precisely how a military force of this composition could defy its stronger neighbors is a mystery which has long puzzled military historians. But translating extant Nimian tablets, which I have recently purchased, I mean to solve the riddle at long last. As my knowledge of Arcanima is currently at best, I require an experienced arcanist to assist me with my analysis of the text pertaining to the magical arts. Will you be that arcanist? There is, however, a complication. The Nimian tablets and other assorted relics, for which I paid an exceedingly large amount of money, were stolen en route to Limsa Lominsa. The information inscribed upon those tablets could be of untold significance. I will not allow thieves to sell it to some rich Ul'dan collector for a pittance. Pray accompany me to the Raincutter Gully docks and help me reclaim my relics. I have a strong reason to believe that the perpetrators can be found here. We must have those tablets. Though I did not seek you out for your combat acumen, pray lend me your magics this once. Alright. Lenosha, here we go. And Scholar may have been a class. I don't remember when it was introduced. Not in Around Reborn, but just because of the difficulty learning it, I might do it now. As I suspected, there are not more than a broken men who have seized the docks and taken to robbing every passing ship. Come, let us put an end to their banditry and take back what is ours. Summon! Yeah, he's technically a marauder, so he'll probably garner most of their attention. If it gets too bad, though, keep in mind you can heal him. Ooh, you actually have a lot of HP. Gosh, Red Carbuncle takes so long. That I might not even use it before I redo my Aether charge. I might pop it off once for this, and then just immediately go about resetting my Aether charge. It doesn't feel worth it unless I'm in like a boss. The amount of damage it does isn't always worth the cast time. And I could be readying other casts. Search for the tablets. Yes, yes, this is it. A treasure on Nimian military tactics, just as I had hoped. And a stone. With a fairy. So instead of a carbuncle, we have a fairy now. Hello there. Ooh. Mayhap the tablet can explain this. Scholars, familiars, fairies. The sunlight of Eos doth soothe and shield. The moonlight of Selene doth silence and strengthen. Ren. By the 12, you have any idea what this means? We have rediscovered the long-lost magical arts of Nimian scholars. I think, too, they changed this quest. I don't know if you got the second fairy or got to see it at the very beginning like this. Fairies. Honest to God, fairies. Well, now I've seen everything. Anyway, I shall return to the guild and begin translating the tablet. I cannot wait to see what other secrets it contains. Okay, let's return to Marauder's Guild, because different fairies are going to have different skills that they grant upon us. And it's kind of hard to tell from the art style that they use within the game, but if you look at the 2D art for the fairies, they are meant to be based off of the Christ fairies from the Bravely Default series. Which, don't worry, that's not a spoiler. Heck, a Christ fairy is literally on the box art for Bravely Default. Excellent timing. I have just finished transcribing a section which will doubtless be of interest to you. According to the tablet, the crystal from which the fairy sprang forth is called the Soul of the Scholar, and it contains the wisdom of those long-dead Nemean mages. With it, you can call upon the fairy as you did before and bind her to your will. As I said before, I have little knowledge of Arcanima, so unless you have some objections, I would like to entrust the crystal to you. Oh, and you needn't recompense me. Simply knowing that the lost arts are being preserved is enough. I shall devote my energies to deciphering the remaining texts. Should I discover anything new, I promise that you will be the first to know. Okay, we get the Soul of the Scholar. Upon the surface of this multi-aspected crystal are carvings of the myriad deeds of scholars from past eras. And the Adloquium. Restores target's HP, cure potency 300. So, like I said, this is going to be more on the healing side, whereas Summoner's going to be more on the DPS side. Grants galvanized to target, nullifying damage equaling 125% of the amount of HP restored. When critical HP is restored, it also grants catalyze, nullifying damage equal to 125% the amount of HP restored. So, White Mage is all more about just straight up healing, whereas Scholar is going to be a little bit different. It's something referred to as a shield healer, so you are going to be more about placing protective buffs on the party rather than healing actual damage. You will do a little bit of that, but a lot less compared to a White Mage, which is why in so many raid parties people tend to have one of each. And if that is the case, if you join like a raid and one is like a Scholar and one is like a White Mage is usually going to be focusing on healing, while Scholar is going to be focusing on shielding. Somebody gets knocked out, it's usually up to the White Mage, not the Scholar. Scholar unlocked. The fairy is awoken by the soul of the scholar. Next quest will be upon level 35. With the soul of the scholar equipped, you can summon a fairy to aid in your battle. When called forth, she will assume the form of a healer-type pet. Moreover, by completing the quest, A Fairy Tale Come True, you may cast glamours on your fairy familiar, allowing her to take on other appearances. Both physically, similar to Carbuncle changing its colors, but also I think the fairy can get bigger, which is also a Bravely default thing. They're normally in small fairy form, but they do have a slightly larger, still not full aura height, I'd say about up to here maybe on me. A more humanoid form. Okay, so some of these automatically changed. And I'm gonna need to figure out what. So let's go in here. Obviously equip the better gear. But go into my set. Add Scholar, there we go. I will keep Arcanist for now, just because I'll turn it into Summoner. But I need to learn my grid. We still have Ruin. Oh, we have Bio now instead of Carbuncle, so deals unaspected damage over time. So that is going to be our equivalent to Arrow. Repose, afflict target with sleep. I usually put that over here. I don't like that it didn't give me a chance to mess with my own hotbar. Restores HP. Summon Eos to fight at your side. Let's remove these now that I know that they are functionally kind of useless. And they just clutter your bar. Let's put the Chocobo back. Physic, let's have that up there if it restores HP. I usually have these here. Lucid Dreaming is normally here. Izuna's there. I like to try and keep things on certain spots in my grid, just to make them a little bit easier. Restores target's HP. I feel like this should go either here or here, depending. And what's this? Whispering Dawn. Orders Fairy to execute Whispering Dawn. Gradually restores the HP of all nearby party members. So that's Medica 2. That is going to be this class's version of Medica 2, I think. Potency 80. Cast is instant. Maybe I just can't cast it in towns? Similar to Medica 2? If it is Medica 2, I'm keeping it up here. Alright, I'm gonna run some raids for a little while and see if I can't get used to this. So really quickly, let's summon my fairy. There we go. I think she stays out. Yeah, level 31 EOS combat pet. So I think she stays out with me until I send her away. But I'm going to run some duties and see if I can get a little bit used to playing a scholar before I take on the next series of quests. And then I will see you then. Okay, so we've made it to level 40, and I do feel like I have a better grasp on Scholar. Now that I know summoning your fairy causes you to be basically a constant auto-regen spell, I have a little bit more of an idea, and I'm correct, this was sort of a field-wide Medica 2. This one I'm a little more unfamiliar with, didn't use it as much. Orders fairy to execute Fey Illumination, which increases healing magic potency of all nearby party members by 10%. While reducing magic damage taken by all nearby party members by 5%. So I'm assuming that's if, like, you're really critical on the healing and, like, your healing spells are not doing enough. But also possibly if there's a ton of critical players, and since it says it increases it for everyone, I'm assuming that also means for white mages, sages, and even summoners to some degree. Good to know. Though I'm not really sure if I should be casting Ruin or Ruin 2. Yeah, this one costs 100 more MP, which is really nothing in the grand scheme of things. But this one is instant, while this one has a small cast timer, but it does ever so slightly more damage, so I'm really not sure. On Arcanist itself, it just auto-upgraded Ruin to Ruin 2, so I don't know if they just, like, forgot to do that for Scholar, or if it's giving you the choice to choose to balance your own MP versus damage. Don't know. Still learning. Ah, Bren, I was hoping you might come along. Deciphering the treatise has proven more difficult than I anticipated, but I have nevertheless made progress. It contains a wealth of military knowledge, much of which details the role of scholars of Nemean units. Apparently, a single scholar could provide effective support for an entire party of marauders. They would employ their magics to heal the wounds and enhance the abilities of their allies. Moreover, they often served leadership roles as they were highly trained tacticians. But how swiftly the remembrance of all things is buried in the gulf of eternity. The treatise indicates that Nemean soldiers wielded far more diverse repertoire of spells than you currently possess. Precisely why you lack these spells, I cannot say. 'Cause I don't know what I'm doing, man. However, the fault may lie with your fairy. One could surmise that the knowledge contained within the soul of the scholar is essentially hers. Therefore, if she cannot remember the ancient magics, it would suggest that... A thought occurs to me. If it is indeed the case that the fairy, having been sealed for 1,500 years, has yet to fully regain her senses, mayhap revisiting a familiar location would hasten the process. And I can think of no more familiar place than the city of Nim. Rather, what remains of it in outer Lenosha. Why not journey to the floating city of Nim? Something there might rekindle the memories of your fairy, assuming her memories are incomplete, that is. Though, does she possess memories like you and I? Until recently, I had no idea fairies even existed. It may be ages before I gain an understanding of these otherworldly entities. I'm not really sure in this world. This one seems to be sort of like a phantom of a Christ fairy, but in Bravely Default, Christ fairies were completely sentient. So let's head out. Yeah, so far I've been decent on healer. There's only been a couple KOs, and all of them were due to players not knowing how Doom worked, or instant death bees, or standing in the radiance of an instant death explosion. AKA not my fault. How are we looking? Here we go. Just explore the ruins, see if I can jog my fairy's memory. Back the other way. Up here. Reading random scraps of words off of the ruins, I guess. How that would pertain exactly to my fairy, I'm not sure. Or what this place has to do with fairies. But maybe we'll learn more about her. One detail I've noticed, though, is if you die in the dungeon, you do have to resummon her. Alright, I guess back to Lenosha. We've stared out at the pretty floating crystals. See if maybe it's jogged her memory. Welcome back. I gather the experiment met with success. This strongly suggests that each fairy is a distinct individual with her own thoughts, feelings, and memories. That's what I said. Well, I must redouble my efforts to translate the remaining text. At this rate, your discoveries threaten to overshadow mine. Not to bemoan your accomplishments, but I have yet to decipher any equally amazing stratagems. Soon enough, though. Soon enough. Okay, and we get Sucker. Restores own HP and the HP of all nearby party members. Cure potency 200. Okay, so the other one is maybe like a bigger, lasting Medica 2, whereas this is maybe more like a regular Medica 2. Erects a magic barrier, which nullifies damage equal to 115% the amount of HP restored. That's the other thing I've noticed with some of these abilities. I'm guessing Sucker is the AoE version of the other one I have. I can't think of the name of it. Cannot be stacked with certain sage barriers. So if you're playing with the sage, I guess you can accidentally cancel each other out. They probably have similar skills. Yeah, I'm guessing Sucker is the AoE version of Aldolquium? Yeah, 125% of the HP restored. But the fact that it's the amount restored as well as with giving you a shield makes you think it's better cast, or I think it feels like it's better cast when a character is down a ways on HP. So if they're like halfway, then cast one of these, because I feel like it restores more. I could be completely wrong, but that's what it's felt like so far in my own dungeoning. He looks pleased to see you. How curious that you always come at the most opportune time. 'Tis divine protection, providence almost. Doubly so, since we have been blessed with the chance to refine our respective arts. You see, in your absence, I have been studying a section of Nemean treaties dealing the marauder fighting techniques. The fundamentals do not differ much from the modern methods, but there are slight variations in footwork and grip, as well as the distinctions between the various ranges, and the attacks best employed when... Oh, forgive me. I lost sight of the more pertinent point. Nemean scholars and marauders fought side by side, yes? Well, now you and I have an opportunity to do the same. A Tonberry has been spotted in Bronze Lake, and the Marauders Guild has been asked to dispatch it. This is how far I got with Scholar. I failed at this, I didn't get any further. Since Tonberries dwell within the Wanderer's Palace, an ancient Nemean temple recently discovered in the wake of the calamity, there is a strong possibility that the creatures have resided there since before the Nim. Do you follow my reasoning? These malevolent creatures may have overrun the temple and claimed it as their own at the height of Nemean civilization. They may have posed a major threat to the ancient people, even. If so, then surely facing one off in battle would rekindle the memories of your fairy. Even if I'm mistaken, the Tonberry poses a threat to the locals. They really don't. They were just being used. Moreover, I would very much like to put my newly learned Nemean techniques to the test, so we will rendezvous outside the Wanderer's Palace, yes? I remember I first did this fight, and it just went so badly. Because I didn't know what I was doing. And because my bar had so much new stuff on it that I didn't know anything about. So I just frequently ran out of MP and kept dying and dying and dying. But now I have a better idea what everything is. Well, most everything. So yeah, even though I was level 50, it didn't go well. Well met. I had only just arrived myself. 'Twas in the vicinity when the Tonberry was last sighted. With luck, it will not have gone far. Look atop the stairs. He's a little scholar, Tonberry. He got a little graduation cap. My son, my dear son. Wait, oh no, it's the Tonberry speaking. My son, my dear son, at long last The rancor, it rises. It rises. It comes. Oh, it sure do. Can I see Zolka's HP? There we go. There's a slime up in the pool. Get the Tonberry, summon these abominations. I feel like, too, the fairy does better for healing if you stay in range of whoever it is you want to get the boon. Does he have status helmets? I don't know. So, like, now would be the time I normally use it. Ooh. Great. Oh, can I not move, like, at all? Okay, let's also get this going. Get my fairy out for mega heals. In between. I hope it's going off anyway. Tonberry down. Yeah, it still was a little close, but I had a better idea this time. No! Don't hurt him! What are you doing? Move, damn you! It's not his fault. My... Confound it all! The encounter with the Tonberry has rekindled the fairy's memories. I think it used to be the Tonberry's city, though, didn't it? That means maybe the Tonberries summoned fairies? Or they live together? Oh, what happened, Bren? I thought you could control her. I thought you said she was sentient. Sentient? What's sentient? Sentient! Oh, I apologize. I know you've only begun to work with the fairy. Some disobedience is to be expected. She's not a pet. Axemaster Winzoin will be disappointed, but there's naught we can do. The Tonberry is long gone. Let us return to Limsa Minsa. And away we go. Was my fairy out during that fight, or did she disappear? Sometimes I have a hard time keeping track of her. A lot of times she'll kinda stay ever so slightly out of view, too, which doesn't help. Ah, Bren, permit me to apologize a second time. Earlier, I was flustered and not myself. In the aftermath of the Tomberry's escape, I completely overlooked our accomplishments. We confirmed the viability of Nemean tactics and proved that a scholar and a marauder working in tandem is a force to be reckoned with. Would you not say? And correct me if I'm mistaken, but your fairy regained some of her memory, yes? With that in mind, I feel comfortable claiming that this is a worthwhile endeavor. However, I do try to gain greater mastery over your minion. I would hate for a repeat of that incident. And maybe, too, Galvanize doesn't completely work on him? That's what it's caused when you cast this, by the way. So maybe, too, it has to do with the NPC you're escorting? Because I have no problem using it on actual teammates, so maybe it's just a little bit wonky with NPCs. Don't know, but I'll probably return here when I'm level 50. See you then. Okay, as you can tell by my Allegan garb, which is left over from the White Mage, since they share gear models. Actually, they share the whole damn garment, which is why I didn't have to purchase another one. I have made it to level 50 with Scholar, which means we can continue. Find the actual Scholar garb, which is going to be worse than what I'm currently wearing. Alkazoga has news, which should be of great interest to you. Good to see you, Bren. I have made yet another discovery which pertains to you and your scholarly arts. Technically, it's your scholarly arts. I have come into possession of several ancient engravings, including some which show the traditional remnants of Nemean scholars. In fact, the extraordinary detail of these illustrations, coupled with information gleaned from other sources, was sufficient to deduce their design. At present, it is impossible to say how historically accurate my designs are. That's why I propose we enlist the aids of Eorzea's preeminent artisans, so that we might recreate the garments. Should they prove sufficiently authentic, I expect your fairy will regain more of her missing memories. Basically, we have to dress up to help her out. In the hands of a preeminent weaver, say Master Redolent Rose of Sunsilk Tapestries, this information should be sufficient. Ah, but you cannot journey to Ul'dah until you have gathered leaves of a direwort. My text explicitly mentioned the plant's pigments were used to dye Nemean uniforms. Alas, direwort is much rarer than it was in days of yore. It can only be found in the fog fens now. Lest you think I mean to make you do all the work, worry not. While you scour Mordorna for the plant, I will contact Master Rose and convince him to help, though I doubt it will require much effort. Yeah, he loves those kind of tasks. Do not forget to obtain the direwort leaves before the journeying to Ul'dah. Without them, it will be impossible to reproduce the distinct colors in Nemean scholar's uniform. Why? Because they made black dye rare for some reason? Because they knew people would pay money to be weebs? Screw that, just like my old wardrobe, I'm gonna use charcoal dye instead. Does it look like it's been through the wash 1,000 times? Yes, but so is all the rest of my clothes, so you know what? It fits. Yeah, one downside of using natural laundry detergents is that it does sometimes fade your outfits. Ooh, I've never seen the inside of this book before. I thought they all looked the same. This one's awesome. Yeah, we now have our charge ability. I wonder if eventually I'm going to get a stronger physic, because as is, I've had a really difficult time with healing in the last couple dungeons. Even when I absolutely spam boosted heals even, my teammates kept dying, and I don't know if it was an armor problem on their end, or me missing a skill that I should have for this level. But going through the Aurum Vale was very painful. I suppose you do have a rather scholarly air about you. I've been expecting you. Have you the leaves and Alkazoa's designs, then? Once used across Bilburn to dye cloths. A blue-green sap. Okay. Crafting remnants that have not been seen in 1500 years. This is indeed a daunting challenge. But it is one I suspect I will enjoy a great deal, for rare is the day a weaver receives ancient fashion. I shall begin at once. You may observe if you like, but be aware it will be a lengthy process. It's making the different fabric pieces. It's been some time since I labored with such intensity. I adhered to Alkazoa's designs as best I could, though there were certain aspects I felt compelled to change. His lack of familiarity with textiles and weaving led to what I can only assume are errors. You will note that I could only complete the culottes? This is because the other garments require skills which I do not possess. Mistress Serendipity and Geva of the Goldsmiths and Leatherworks Guild respectively can provide the finishing touches to the remaining pieces. Ah, but you are unaware that I could not craft the full set by myself, weren't you? Very well, I shall send word to them on your behalf. You will need only visit each guild and present to them my unfinished work. Right then, to... Oh, that's at the Goldsmiths. I guess we would go there first. Greetings! Red said you'd be along shortly, so let's see that motorboard. Mortarboard. Mortar. Thank you. English. Sounds like I said something else completely different. Incomplete scholar's garb. This shouldn't take long. Wait here a moment. Here it is, as promised. Amazing what a difference a mithril tassel can make, isn't it? Wear it with pride. Now off you go, and be sure to enjoy your time in Gridania. Okay, leatherworkers, I think they said, which is... here. Ah, Bryn, the person who would single-handedly revive the scholarly arts. Alright then, show me what you got. Master Rowe's work is marvelous, as to be expected. This will be a pleasure. Okay, but I really like that I get to see them at their workstations. I wish there were more scenes like this in general in A Realm Reborn. There you go, one pair of fingerless buffalo leather gloves, perfect for the scholar who prefers that their protection does not come at a cost to dexterity. Oh, the boots? Belly will see to those. He's an expert cordwainer, so you needn't worry about the quality. Besides, I've already spoiled you by making your gloves for free. Come on, I literally won you a art contest. You're the scholar, yes. I've been instructed to assist you. If you would please let me see Master Rose's work. This craftsmanship is amazing. I cannot wait to get started. Here you are, made with the finest boar and buffalo leather in accordance with Alcazoa's designs, which are very impressive, I must say. Yeah, I don't think we can get buffalo leather yet. Edelgoat, but not buffalo. You must be dying to see the completed set. I know I would be, had I gone to such great lengths. You ought to surprise him by wearing the garments when you next meet him. Okay, we get the pants. Do I have more of the pieces as a result? Yeah, I do. I have the scholar cap, which looks like I've graduated. The hands. I know these are worse, but do it for the bit. The boots. Do it for the quest. I'm not a fan of the hat, but I'll wear it for the quest. Even though the point of the scholarly look in Final Fantasy games, it kind of looked like a graduate. Not a fan of the glasses. By the gods, I feel as if I've been transported backwards through time. You're the very image of a Nemean scholars of Eld. Well, minus the gown, but still, never in my wildest dreams did I think it would turn out this well. Ah, see, you approve as well, little one. Suffice it to say, we can consider this a great success. Alright, 45. For your fellow man. Ooh, we did get a new ability too. With this quest. Yes, I forgot to mention that while I was awaiting your return, I made considerable progress with the deciphering of my Nemean tablets. Much of what I have learned until now has pertained to the roles of scholars within the military. However, these latest texts offer great insight into a scholar's activities during times of peace. As you can imagine, they were not the sort to let their restorative magics go to waste. One particularly stirring account describes their selfless efforts to combat the spread of a virulent plague which at one point threatened to engulf all of Nim. Naturally, they did so with the aid of the fairies, which is why I believe that similar acts of charity may serve to further awaken your winged companion. If you are of mind to test my theory, why not journey to Camp Bronze Lake? You will find no shortage of the sick and wounded there. Rakusa Farusa would doubtless welcome your services were you to offer them. He presides over the Warm Wine Sanatorium, so be sure to have a word with him if you decide to go. Yeah, worth noting too is that the Tomberry was wearing this sort of outfit as well. I wonder how old it is. I don't know if Tomberries age or what their lifespans are. I'm questioning if in this universe they're just people who got cursed. Or maybe they were at one point a type of beast tribe? Hello there and welcome to Bronze Lake. If you desire treatment, you wish to administer treatment? Are you even qualified to? Wait, you must be Bren, the scholar. I have something in my eye. We're happy to accept any assistance you can provide. I am told you process magics which can cleanse the body of toxins, impurities, and maladies. At the present, we have 5 present visiting the springs who would benefit from this care. Pray attend to these individuals and return to me when finished. Short-breathed invalid? Asthma? Are you here to help me? I don't know what's wrong. I can't... Do I physic them? I don't quite know what to do. Cast Izuna! Oh. My lungs! I can breathe again! Thank you. Bless you. I think at the time, White Mage might not have had Izuna yet. It might have been a Scholar exclusive thing. Because I remember people used to make jokes for White Mage, like, I can't Izuna, stupid, but now you have it. Try taking a wound sometime. Sure, it hurts like hells at first, but then you get to drink away the pain. Wine-soaked invalid. What the? Why'd you have to go and do that? Ah, bugger, now they'll take my wine away. I guess in a world that doesn't have adequate painkillers, you just get to be drunk and sit in the hot springs as way of treatment. What's wrong with me? My wounds have closed, but I still feel so weak. Huh? What did you do? You took something from me. Something bad. I don't know what you did, but I'm glad you did it. Thank you. Ooh. Maybe that's what I took. Some corrupted aether. Yeah, I don't really know if there's a purpose to keeping Ruin 1. People say to use Ruin 1 and use Ruin 2 mostly when you're moving, but I kind of feel like I disagree. I'm still using it for the sake of this playthrough, but as is, it's really only 10 or 20 points of difference in terms of the damage done. And since Ruin 2 casts quicker as well, since it doesn't have a charge timer, that 10-20 points of difference really feels like it gets negated by the charge timer anyway. Me arm ain't been the same since the Cartno. Chirujigan says the flesh is willing, but the spirit is weak. I say he's a superstitious git. What? What is this warmth? Did you do that? Thank you, whoever you are. Girls just having fun? Heavy-eyed. It's a good thing you're out of the water then. Can't sleep. Mummer will eat me. Can't sleep. Mummer will eat me. Oh, maybe she's an insomniac. You set me free. I no longer feel his eyes upon me. Is something gonna pop out of this one too? Yeah. You do almost no damage as a Scholar either, not even like compared to White Mage. And I think that's because having your fairy on the field is just a constant regen without you having to do anything. So you maybe have, as a Scholar, way lower offensive capabilities. But as a result, you get to keep regen active at all times. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. What you did for the patients was nothing short of miraculous. You do get 2 regen abilities as a White Mage, but you do have to cast them and they use MP, as opposed to this, which is just constant and free. Their commanding officers will be pleased to hear that they can return to active duty. You and Alcazulka have my deepest thanks. Alright, back to the Marauders Guild then. See if we get any better abilities. Oh, people are starting to log on. Ah, Bren. Rukusa Farusa tells me that your potent magic exceeded all expectation. Had a good time, did you? I thought you might. It warms my heart to see the two of you making such great strides, and it reminds me that I must work harder to see that I'm not left behind. For the nonce, I will resume deciphering the Nemean tablets. Though they have yielded an immense quantity of information on the scholarly arts, I remain confident that they contain an equally impressive wealth of tactical information. Okay, what do we get? Lustrate. Restores target HP, cure potency 600. Oh my gosh. Thank you. This probably eclipses what I was currently using. I wish they would just upgrade it because I hate having to keep like an entirely separate skill bar for less lower level dungeons. So yeah, I would probably use Lustrate instead of Physic, which is 400. Restores target HP 600. Oh, it's instant cast too? Weird that I can't autocast it though. If that's the case, do I actually want that there? Restores a target's HP, cure potency 600. Aether flow gauge. Oh, it uses this. Oh no. That's why. Okay. I'll probably keep this here. Just because I almost never use the actual attack charge. I can put it somewhere. If I can find it. Hello. Here we go, energy drain. I can keep it on this grid for now with some other stuff. I might eventually turn this into like a multicast grid since I do have Art of War, which is not a very good AoE. It's like a small little field around you. There you go, like this. And it doesn't really do that much damage to stuff inside the field, so it's iffy. Has an urgent request. The fact that it's instant cast, though, makes me think it does want me to switch over to Ruin 2. There we go. We get the Scholar's Gown, which makes me think this is going to be the last one. And Sacred Soil creates a designated area in which party members will only suffer 90% of all damage inflicted. Oh, this is... I finally get to lay down one of my ley lines, or whatever they're called. I see black mages with these types of things in later content sometimes. If someone lays down a useful AoE, stop running away from it! Ren, you must come with me at once. Another tombear has emerged from the Wanderer's Palace. A traveling peddler caught sight of the fiend and that fled to Camp Bronze Lake. Once again, it falls to the Marauders Guild to find it and slay it. This time, we will hunt down the tomberry in greater numbers, so that we might surround it and cut off all avenues of escape. I have not forgotten our previous attempt to slay one of the foul creatures. Nor have you, I trust. I have your assurances that you will keep the fairy in line this time, yes? I don't control her. She is sentient. Christ, fairies are sentient. Just because she can't talk now doesn't mean she doesn't have a brain. Asshole. So let us make for Bronze Lake at once. Our comrades have already departed, and I do not wish to fall behind. We will rendezvous with them at the same place we battled the first tomberry. The Nemean tablets contain a veritable wealth of knowledge. Deciphering the remaining text may take an eternity, but even if it does, it will be time well spent. Okay. Back to Camp Bronze Lake again. Helps if you're on the right. Why is it... Hello? My controller might be dying in other ways, too. But yeah, I find, like, using the energy shots, when you do it as a Arcanist or a Summoner, it's a great little extra boost of damage. But because Scholar has such low attack, I feel like it does even less than Ruin, because it's only 100. This is 150, this is 140. And then energy charge is 100. It does, like, no damage. Especially in a class that has, like, virtually no attack stat, it does, like, nothing. So, I don't feel bad moving it to the back. I feel like Lustrate takes so much more priority. We have amazing healing and really, really crappy offensive capabilities. Thank the gods you have come. Any later and we might have had to proceed without you. The Tonberry appears to be in some sort of trance, and it's oblivious to our presence. Is everyone ready? Excellent. Remember, we must surround the fiend. It cannot be allowed to flee. I wonder if we need to cure the Tonberry of something. We used Azuna on people. Maybe we need to use Azuna on the Tonberry. My son, my dear son, stay away. I cannot. Yeah, he's wearing the same type of garb that I am. Damn it, not again! It seeks sanctuary inside the Wanderer's palace. Come, let us follow and finish this once and for all. Am I actually going in the dungeon? Oh my god. This is new. Do not dally. We need your magics. They've never done this before. Can I help you? I guess not. Defeat the Tonberry Wanderer. Oh, this one's a little black mage. What's invulnerable? No on these. Nope, I can't. Maybe all I can do is run away from those then. Did it escape? They keep turning into flames. That one's different. Oh yeah, that's gotta be like the boss. Let's get bio then. Why are you running away? I'll go where Elkazoka goes. Dang it. There's too much stuff in here. Oh, and he's got status ailments on him. Could you not stand in the danger puddles? For you, our rage, our rancor. They're all coming for me! Put the shield up. don't do it. What, again? Why do you protect this demon? But yeah, I think I've gotten pretty used to Scholar at this point. I understand it so much better now. It's almost... Have you gone mad? This thing is a monster. It must be put down. It's almost like when you take time to actually learn your classes instead of just starting off with level 80 and a whole bunch of things that you don't understand what they do, you have a better experience in Final Fantasy XIV. Heal the Tonberry Wanderer. Can I talk to you? No, I guess not. The rancor. Lily, my son! Why are you here? Who has summoned you? Then Nim. Nim is no more? 1,500 years. Can it truly be so? Is that how old you are? I was Surito Karito, before the sickness from the sea transformed me. You were a Lalafell? The traders, they were the first. As their ears and noses began to atrophy, their limbs grew shorter, and their skin... Was the Big Tonberry at Rogadin? We scholars tried to halt the spread, tried to find a cure, but in time, we too fell ill. Sympathy turned to fear, and fear to anger. Monsters, they called us. Abominations. So this is why you don't have a primal, because you're human. Then, you were once a man? They sealed the sick within the temple with magics, tried to drown us, tried to forget us. Though our bodies had been changed, our minds remained intact. But within every man lurks a beast, when those whom call you kin deny you, come to hate you and despise you. I too succumb to the rancor, until you reunited me with Lily, my dearest son. Long has my mind been clouded with hatred, but by the resplendent light of Lily, at long last, I am free. But now what? Can you come back with us? I guess our echo lets us see their former selves. Was the fairy different? I should have paid closer attention to that. Always pay very close attention to the fairies in Bravely Default too. Little teeny tiny details can change, and they mean things. Very important things. I nearly killed him. Thank the gods the fairy stopped me. I wonder, did she know it was Surito from the beginning? Or was it only... In any case, she has regained a good portion of her memories, if not all of them, I suspect. Well, if you would excuse me, I need to take some time to put my thoughts in order and decide how I might explain this to the Axemaster. So wait a bleeding moment. That Tonberry used to be a scholar like you? So does that mean you'll turn into one of them if you keep slinging those spells? Or did I misunderstand what you said back there? Oh, the hell's with it. I think you misunderstood. It seemed more like a disease than a consequence of being a scholar. I came expecting to fight a Tonberry, not a whole bloody mess of them. If it wasn't for you and your flying friend, I wonder if we'd not left there alive. Gotta say, you and Elle can make a great team. Shame there ain't more of scholarly types around, 'cause I could use a partner like you. Take care. That the traditions of my people have not been lost to the ages is of great comfort to me. I don't know how that soul crystal came into your possession, but I'm glad that it did, for the sickness robbed me of not only my body, but of Lily as well. The soul of the scholar no longer resonates with my aether. I cannot summon her. Only you can. Only you are fit to wield the magics now. Here, a gown as befits a scholar of your standing. I bequeath it to you, along with the knowledge of the sacred soil, my most versatile art. I cannot thank you enough for purging the rancor from my heart, but there are still countless others who have yet to see the light. I cannot abandon them to their fate. I will not. And so I bid you farewell, Bren. Carry on our traditions with pride. Bequeathed you knowledge of a new art, Sacred Soil. This concludes the Scholar Quest for Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. Next Scholar Quest will be available from Alcazolka, but that will be in Heaven's Word. And he's gone. There we go. Alright. Let's check out the Scholar Garb at least. Yeah. Not exactly my favorite look, to be honest, but what you gonna do? But either way, that concludes Scholar. And next will be Summoner, which I'll, since I'm level 50, be able to do all in one go. But anyways, that will be my final quest as well. If you'd like to see more Final Fantasy XIV in the future, like and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in future videos. Bye-bye!